And now what goes on is over to Andy. Hello, Andy. I believe you're drinking in a park. That's what the message was. I'm going to smash a few beers in a park with my friend. Well, good on you, mate. There you go. When you get home, listen to this. This is all for you. You wanted to know about particularly a 4-against-3 polyrhythm. Okay, so of course I've talked about polyrhythms in the past on Facebook Live, but if I'm going to go down specifically to a 4-3 polyrhythm, see the big fat piggy, right? So what happens is you've got essentially 4 and 3. You play the two numbers off against each other. So the common denominator is 12. 4 times 3 is 12. So what happens is that you're playing the 4 every 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If you like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, because the common denominator is 12. And when you're doing the 3, you're playing it every 4. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Now, when you're doing it, see the big fat piggy. 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 See. So on it goes. Now, the funny thing about it is that 4 against 3 gets used quite a bit in its own kind of inimitable way, sort of thing. If I was to do a blues, I woke up this morning. Here it comes. There you go. Now, you can't really, I'm back on the marching powder with Tim Howell if I try to count it. And this is the funny thing about polyrhythms, you see, because what goes on is that you work out the standard way of doing it. You have to, no problem. But you can only go so fast before your tongue falls out trying to count it, right? So what goes on is I wrote a book back in the 2000s for the publishing mob I was with at the time, and now I self-publish, so I can still get it out to you. It's on my website, actually. Shameless plugging. But I called it, it was a bit tongue-in-cheek, the organic polyrhythm. Oh, dickhead. Anyway, so what happens is that what I tried to do with that book is apply snare drum technique and rudimental playing, but to polyrhythmic playing. Okay, marry the two together. Now, what happens is when you're dealing with technique, what often happens is you're talking about perhaps the standard, starting out technique, and that's fine. But then you morph in. There's two ways you could go, but they're both complementary. And the people who developed them and who acknowledged their namesake were actually good friends. So it wasn't a competition. It's just different styles of technique to learn. And one was Billy Gladstone, so the Gladstone technique of finger control. It's called finger control because you can see that my wrist is not moving. It's a little bit like the sound of one hand clapping, like that, and you put a stick in there and away you go, you see. So you get that. It's often known as the French timpani grip as well, or timpani style. Where that actually goes back to you, Andrew, because the French timpani grip is something that one of my favourite drummers of all time, Billy Cobham, talks about a bit, because he sort of used that technique a little bit, and that goes to fingerstyle playing and all that. And that's Billy Gladstone. Sanford Moeller. So you've got now the Moeller technique and the whipping stroke, What you have there is a downstroke and an upstroke, you see. So you play down, up, down, up. So what I'm doing with a 4 against 3 polyrhythm, so I'm not blurring out, going off onto tangents, is that what I use is the Moeller technique, like the whipping stroke, vipping post. Reference to Frank Zappa. Sorry about that. See how I'm whipping a 3? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1 and 3, 1 and 3. Triplets, if you like. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. Back on the marching powder, Tim. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. That kind of thing. Or 1 a yarn, a 2 a yarn, a 3. That's a 4, you see. So I could go 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I could do 3 over here. And the common resolution point. 1, 1, 1, 1. Now, 4, 3. So what I'm doing is I'm actually just really feeling that. And then the molar technique is actually getting me to play the polyrhythm where I can't really count it, you know, because it's a bit quick, you know. So, boom. So on it goes like that. So there's a 4 against 3 polyrhythm with just hands. Now, one of the funny things about, if I'm going to continue with this a little bit, is because I could go to the good old paradiddle here. Right, left, left. Okay. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Like that. Right, left, left, right, left, left, left. You see that? There's your main beat. Now, I've got a mix sticking with a paradiddle. How about if I put in a triplet with the bass drum? Okay, so I've got a paradiddle now. I'll get that a bit more even. Chris, come on. There's your 4 against 3 polyrhythm there. Andy, there you go. All right. All right, so that's a 4 against 3 polyrhythm, and there you go. Now, last week I was doing Vale the Ginge. And he would be involved, Ginger Baker from Cream. I did a big, long show about that. And he would often sort of put in that kind of a polyrhythmic kind of style sort of thing. The main one's the hemiola, 3 against 2. But Andy, you specifically asked me asking me about 4 against 3. So there you go. All right.